Hello everybody, how are you doing? It's the 26th, it's Stephen's Day stroke Boxing Day, 26th of December 2009. I hope everybody had a great day yesterday, as far as possible. And I just want to thank everybody for a start this little snip, for sending responses to the query that I posted in the last posting, which was, are we alone? I personally think it's a very, very important question, but so we'll just leave it and let people cogitate about it. We'll just discuss it. I'm not going to discuss it today. We'll discuss it over the next few days, okay? We see some of the responses. Some of them are very, very nice, very interesting. I wouldn't say nice, very interesting. So we'll see where that goes and what the general consensus is. Anyway, I just want to talk about a couple of things. Articles, I've put the links up to them: Irish Times, Irish Independent, and the Daily Telegraph, the right-wing newspaper in the UK. And what the first two articles are about, they're about economics, Irish economics. And the first one is about banks dumping their asset base, and by that I mean their property base. And it looks like ACC Bank, which is, I think it's rated about 6th or 7th in the banks in Ireland here, looks like they're dumping their retail base in Ireland. Looks like they're jumping ship. I think they've got 19 branches up for sale all throughout Ireland that are trying to sell off, and it's just a question of they're getting offside, and that's it. And at any cost, they'll probably sell these, just whatever, just get rid of them, and that's it. They're finished with Ireland as far as retail banking is concerned. And that's one bank, and the next bank is AIB, and AIB has decided to do the same, but on a more selective scale. And they've decided to do the same with one of their main branches, which is, I'm sure most people who have ever been to Dublin would know this branch. It's down in Grafton Street, and it's a branch, it's an angular branch, and it stretches between, it's a colossal retail branch, it's just huge, and it stretches between two streets. One is Grafton Street and the other is Wicklow Street. And somebody has offered him 28 million for it, which to me seems like, I don't know, it's a reflection of the property market in Ireland. That's all I could see. But anyway, whether or not they take it or not, I don't know. Whether or not AIB takes it or not, they probably will. But all this thrust of the bank's direction, what way the banks are going, the banks are trying to trim their sales and cut back everything, and they're going to have redundancies, internal redundancies, and within the bank, etc. And the whole thing is to trim and cut down their whole expenditure, try and rationalise as much as possible. And this is just one way of doing it. But this thing is also closely connected with the second article, and the second article is the state making an announcement that in future, over the state immediately, well, now I don't know whether they're going to do it immediately, but in a very short period of time, the state will not issue any more checks to people. So if you have, like, let's say for instance, you have pension from the state, or payment from the state or whatever, you will not be able to get that. That will be wire transferred into your account, and you will not be able to get that anymore by a check. The state has decided they want a checkless society. They're going to introduce legislation whereby banks over a fixed period will reduce the level of checks that they issue, so you won't have checks anymore. So it'll be credit cards, debit cards, and wire transfers. That's how business will be done. And what that's really all about is, that's really all about just two things. It's about state control over people's lives, further state control over people's lives. Very deliberate, very well thought out. They have got people like within the Central Statistics Office and the ESRI, and these guys, they don't do an awful lot, really, to be honest. They don't do an awful lot, and they're in these advisory boards of these bodies, and they've come up with this because in the past, and especially in the 80s, we had another thing which is a big threat to the state, and it's called a black economy. And I would say over the last year, the black economy in Ireland has grown exponentially. And I would say that over the next few years, it'll even grow more. So this is an attempt by the state to reduce the amount of cash that's in circulation. Because if you reduce the amount of cash that's in circulation, it just means that people will be forced, as I say, to use credit cards, debit cards and wire transfers to conduct their business. And checks and cash and such like will be reduced right down. So the effect of a black economy will be reduced. It won't be like it was in the 80s, where you had the so-called real economy, the economy that, you know, the state draws tax out of, and you had this other black economy that the state didn't draw tax out of, and it was a colossus. It was a colossus alongside. They say it was bigger than the real economy. So the state doesn't want that happening. The state couldn't have that happening. That's not part of the whole thought process for the state, and it's very understandable. But the real thing is no black economy and more control of our lives. That's really what it's about. So these two, as I say, these two articles are linked, and the point of the future, where we're going to be going. The final thing I just want to talk about very, very quickly is an article, and I put the article up there, Daily Telegraph, very right-wing, Tory stroke monarchist newspaper in London, but it covers it quite well. And an article about the burning of St Mel's Cathedral in Longford on Christmas Eve, and the thing was completely burnt out yesterday morning. This big just a big church, that's all it is. But what's interesting is right in the Midlands, right, a big statement, like whoever did it made a big statement. It stinks. It looks like it was burnt down. So listen, what do you expect? Here you have a church organisation, and the bottom line of it is rape. So we've said it 1,000 times. It raped, sodomized, thousands of children over a period of 30, 40, 50 years. All those people are now adults out there. They need cared for and looked after, and the church's attitude has been to throw them to the four winds. And it's only with the greatest reluctance that the church has got involved and accepted its responsibilities in the matter. And a lot of these people are out there are off their rocker. They're semi-suicidal. And my only thing is, I'm surprised that it hasn't happened before, and there hasn't been a whole litany of these churches burnt down, and the bishops attacked and things like that. I'm stunned at it. I'm stunned that it hasn't happened before, because to me it's an obvious consequence of the behaviour of these people. Who the hell do these people think they are? Who do these church people think they are? But sure, we know who they think they are. They think they up until recently they were the alternative government. And you must remember, they're governed by a different set of laws than you or I. They're governed by canon law. It's a codex, a special codex issued by the Vatican. And that comes from your man. That comes from this fellow up here. Red phone in the corner. So anyway, we live in extraordinary times, and as I say, my only surprise is that it hasn't happened before. I believe big crowds gathered outside this cathedral, and they're all crying. Lots of people were crying. And I hope they cried when they read the Murphy and the Ryan reports as well. But I wonder. Maybe we should be Christian about it anyway. Anyway, we talk more about this. Okay, bye.